Hello and happy Canada Day. Over the next half hour, we'll bring you local stories with uniquely Canadian style that show what it means to live in this beautiful country. Ask anyone what the most obvious symbol of Canada is, and you'll get a quick answer: the maple leaf flag. Surprisingly, it's a fairly new flag, and it was a bitter feud that brought it to life.
It is instantly recognizable as the symbol of this great nation, the red and white of the Canadian flag. This symbol, however, is not that old, and its birth was at the center of a national controversy. When then Prime Minister Lester B. Pearson promised the nation a distinctly Canadian flag, traditionalist John Diefenbaker was vehemently opposed to shedding what was known as the ensign flag.
Diefenbaker is a dyed-in-the-wool, large and small C conservative, fundamentally believed in maintaining the tie to England, the tie to empire, and all that that had once represented. Interestingly enough, Lester Pearson is the only Canadian Prime Minister who ever served in the military. He had that one aspect of his character that no one could then charge him with being disloyal.
It was a strong clash of personalities.
It became very personal between Diefenbaker and Pearson about the flag, and Diefenbaker called it the Pearson pennant. Pearson favored some rather innovative or radical designs, one might say, with blue bars and the maple leaves in the middle with a three-branch maple leaf. And it was quite a bit of a fight.
The debate culminated in what's now called the Great Flag Debate of 1964. Those loyal to the ensign flag took to the streets of Parliament Hill to protest the change, as did members of the Royal Canadian Legion.
We still had Second World War vets serving then, right? So they were really attached to that, and they've seen a lot of their comrades get killed in action, and as well as we had a lot of Korean vets that served under the flag as well. So they had a resentment, but being in the military at the time, you had to be loyal, and you took an oath to the Queen and your country.
The debate reached such a height, Pearson grew concerned about his minority government in peril.
The domestic scene in Canada at that time was fairly fraught, so there are lots of issues bubbling around, and people are all sort of concerned about having their voice heard. And then it becomes symbolically represented in, okay, if we're going to have a flag, how will my voice be heard as represented in this flag?
Ultimately, Pearson did something very Canadian. He struck a 15-member multi-party committee to decide the fate of the Canadian flag.
It was probably the best way to do it, because otherwise we would still be using the Union Jack, which, like I say, it's a very honored flag. Our veterans fought under that flag, and that's why even today we carry that in the Legion.
The flag that, of course, eventually took the day, the two red bars and then the red maple leaf in the middle on the field of white, was snuck into the committee almost last second. And I take perhaps an inordinate amount of pride in the fact that a historian created it.
That historian was George Stanley, inspired by the flag of the Royal Military College of Canada. While the ensign flag is no longer Canada's official flag, it still has a place in Canadian lore.
It's an important aspect of our history. It underwent a number of changes, as our coat of arms has over the years, and it's still a symbol of Canada. But the symbol of Canada that's official and adopted and recognized as our one flag is the one we have now.
With Canada Day now upon us, make sure to wave that Canadian flag with pride. It was no easy task to get it. Cheryl Jan, CKPG News.
Coming up next on our Canada Day special, how Prince George is linked with the British monarchy. Plus, how our great outdoors inspired a local invention that's now used worldwide.